So this here is Cobb and Cobb. Cobb and Cobb is the kid brother of Cobb Cobb. He recently sailed over from, Croatia or some shit to make a name for himself. However, when Cobbin got here, just 40 pounds to his name, he realized the simple facts of life. He realized that he was in over his head and he had no idea how to start out on the frontier. He had no skills. He had to start from nothing. He also later realized that he was created as a storage alt and served no purpose besides holding immense amounts of weaponry, but that's besides the point. Northwind is a big fucking game with a big fucking skill gap. It can be very daunting to new players. Today I'm going to show you my method for getting up to the level all the pros are at. I'm going to show you exactly what you should do first. My method will arm you, make you filthy rich, and enable you to purchase any clothing and cosmetics you wouldn't otherwise be able to craft. So let's get to it. So let's say hypothetically, you're new to Northwind. Got a couple skills at Novice, and you've figured out where St. Paul is, and you're ready to put actual time into advancing one specific area of gameplay. One skill set, if you will. So there is a ton of skills to train, like fishing, cooking, woodcutting, but there are two main skill pathways. There's two big routes that people traditionally go down. The first is the animal route, where you hunt animals, kill them, skin them, and then make them into clothing that you wear yourself or sell for pounds. What increases on this route is the hunting and leatherworking skills. They increase in tandem because you do one, and then do the other, and then sell your goods. Now the second route is the metallurgy route, where you mine ores and then make them into tools and weapons. Now here, the mining and smithing skills increase in tandem. Now everything you mine needs to be smithed, and so the two increase together. Now a lot of people start out with this animal route, focusing on getting themselves animal clothing and then selling their additional stuff for a profit. This is not necessarily wrong to do. It's a good way to get some money early on, but it shouldn't be your focus, because while the skills of hunting and leatherworking are important, they're essentially cosmetics. When you level up your hunting and leatherworking skills, you're rewarded with the ability to skin and use new animals. This gives you the ability to interact with these rarer pelts. This doesn't guarantee that you'll find one of these rare animals. It doesn't guarantee that you'll get a hold of these rare pelts. It just means that you're prepped for the off chance that you spot a white bear in a cave one day. Upping your hunting skills is not a guarantee like upping your metallurgy skills is, or always spawns at the same consistency in the same locations. The same cannot be said for rare animals. Do not focus on hunting and leatherworking early on. It will not help you advance the way other skills will. If it's really that important to use a native, natives are master fucking hunters and leatherworkers by default. Just get the pelts that way. The only downside to hunting with a native is they can only hunt 9 of one type of animal. Every 24 hours the clock resets and they can hunt 9 more of that type of animal. But it's still, it's worth it in comparison. Okay, so here's my method, here's my pitch. I suggest you drop everything, go to St. Paul, and get your metallurgy skills to master. I'm talking about mining and smithing. Everything you do in Northwind will be easier the higher these skills are. You can make the guns you use in combat instead of purchasing them. It gets expensive as hell. You can pick and choose which melees you get good with instead of being forced to use whatever the fuck you have lying around. You can also sell the goods you craft as quest rewards and make a fortune. I do the Kentucky rifle and the Springfield musket quests for Tristan Favreau. I make fucking 2K an hour just, grinding the fucking mines. It's super worth it. High levels in mining and smithing give you freedom. They let you make what you want to make out of what you want to make it out of. Say that 3 times fast. With these levels maxed, you can make any tool in game. This helps with fishing and building, when you make your own hammers and rods. This helps with hunting, when you're dried on the job, or when you want to kill a wolf but you can't make a blunderbuss. And this really helps with combat specifically, because it lets you use whatever the fuck you want to use. It gives you flexibility. You can make any gun, any melee, and you can get good with any gun or any melee. I've yet to see any aspect of this game that isn't improved when you're good at fighting. And metallurgy is your ticket to getting good at fighting. This first group of skills, smithing and mining, are really a stepping stone. You know, it's so much easier to get to master hunting once you master smithing. Trust me on this. Make metallurgy your absolute priority in Northwind. Okay, so let's discuss how to master mining and smithing. So with smithing, start up by crafting tomahawks. Then once you've leveled up, move on to crafting boarding axes. Then after another level, move on to crafting Charleville muskets or blunders. Then finally, move on to crafting sabres until you get to master smithing. Completing your levels in that order with those tools will give you the most bang for your buck. So let me restate that. Tomahawks to boarding axes to Charlevilles to sabres. Now the goods you've crafted can be turned into Tristan Favreau as quest rewards for additional pounds. You actually make quite a bit off this. So, now to mining. With mining, getting to master is pretty self-explanatory. Mine the ore you can mine, which is iron, until you get to novice. Then mine the next ore you unlock until you get apprentice. Then mine the next ore you unlock until you get to adept, and so on and so forth. It's not really that complicated. Although I will say this. When mining my ores to get to master smithing, I only mined iron. I didn't, go for gold and wolfram and all that shit. I just mined iron, and so I got to master smithing just mining iron, and I got to master mining just mining iron, and so even if you don't mine all those crazy ores and shit, even if you stick with the basics, you still make enough XP to get to master mining and smithing at basically the same rate just mining iron. And it doesn't matter with smithing, it doesn't matter the material you craft out of, whether you make a fucking wolfram Charleville or an iron Charleville, you make the same XP off it, so it doesn't matter what ore you craft out of. And so, if it's all the same to you guys, I don't suggest making shit out of fancy ores and mining fancy ores. You get to mining and smithing the same pace anyways. Just takes longer if you make your fucking shit out of, I don't know, rose gold or something. Just focus on iron. Trust me with that.